I already started off wrong. God damn it. Okay. Hey guys, my name is Destiny, and if you don't know already, I am an artist. I would like to say interdisciplinary artist. Interdisciplinary. That's always a tongue twister for me. I mainly paint in my work. You'll see it on my page on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, any social media that I may have. But today I wanted to talk about overcoming being a perfectionist and how to break away from that, and reasons why you should break away from that, honestly. There are a few ways or a few reasons why you don't want to be a perfectionist. I'm going to name a few in this video that I've noticed in my journey of being an artist, and I would like to know, what are your reasonings that you feel like you need to get over being a perfectionist when it comes to being creative and working on your own personal craft. This is one of my first sit down talk videos. I always contemplated about doing one of these. I just never, I guess you could say, got the courage to do it because I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I'm literally just looking at my phone or my camera. Hello. Have you ever? I feel like a lot of making YouTube videos is having a moment where you're like stumbling over your words. So you just got to wait for like 2 minutes so that you could get your mind together. Being a perfectionist does definitely has its pros and cons, but I want to share a few cons and reasons why I personally need to stop being a perfectionist. The first reason I want to mention is procrastinating. Being a perfectionist definitely leads to procrastination. When you are a perfectionist, you're always stuck in this state of starting and never finishing. And ultimately, you're never going to show that work. When you're making work, you want to make sure that you have completed work that you can share and show to people and who may be interested in your work. But there's always going to be someone who is going to like and appreciate the work that you're making. But you never know because you're never finishing the work. Okay, sorry, I was getting over a cold. I would say for me, this is one of the traits that I've never really picked up on as much. I always started something and completed it no matter what. And even if I did start it, I did something on top of that. But I always had to use the resource or the whatever materials that I planned on using. I always had to use it and just go through with it. I've known a lot of people who would start pieces or who would make a work of art and they would just never finish that work. And honestly, you're never going to see your growth if you never get things done just because you don't like it. What would your portfolio look like if you never finished what you were making? This is going to lead you to create a lot of work that is unfinished, that you're not happy with, and that you never learn from, honestly and truly. This doesn't mean that you necessarily have to make visual art, but there are some things that being a perfectionist can hold you back from, and that's just being creative in general. Holding you back, you back, you back. I will say this is a type A character trait that I feel like a lot of type A personalities have. And if you don't know what type A is, type A people are very organized, very particular about the things that they do. They can also be stress bugs, like they get stressed very easily, overwhelmed because they want things to be in order and they want things to be perfect. The second reason is there is no evidence of growth. When you're making work, you want to show your progression as you continue to age or as the years, months, days go by. You never want to get rid of all your work. I know there's some pieces like, oh, I don't need this. This is too much. This is taking up like a lot of space in my place, or this is a lot of clutter. These are old paintings or whatever the case may be. You don't want to throw away all your work and you don't want to keep unnecessary stuff. That's what I think. But honestly, you can't just get rid of everything, so you're able to see how far you've come from your very first piece of work to your very last or most current piece of work. One of the paintings that I did a while ago, when I did it then, I thought that, it was the best thing I ever made. Obviously, it's not the best thing I ever made because I'm only going to get better. Comparing that to now, I do see a big difference, and I'm able to see where I've matured and grown a lot as far as my skill and my mindset. That leads me into point number 3. You have to learn from your mistakes. There's a lot of pieces that I've made where I've painted on a material that I didn't like or used a material I didn't want. I learned from certain mistakes that I didn't want to make before. Like, for example, I did this one I guess you could say, tapestry piece where I applique some of these fabrics together. And that was my first time using the applique technique that I learned while I was in art school. I had a fiber class, and that class, in some parts, it was a little difficult because I had to use sewing techniques and the sewing machine. I do have a sewing machine now, but I'm still not, quite advanced with that tool. So when I did this piece, I kind of like the outcome because it was the vision that I seen. It was the vision that I had in my mind when I first started making it. However, there are, like, little nicks and nacks that I didn't appreciate or that I didn't like. And I feel like that just fell on the craftsmanship and also the lack of experience when it came to sewing and not knowing how to do certain things. But for the most part, to, maybe someone else's eyes, it might look it might look good. I personally don't like it, but that's okay. There's always going to be someone who will like your work. I always say this. There's going to be someone who likes your work. If you don't like it, shoot, I don't know what to tell you. This just leads me to the conclusion that sometimes you just have to do things scared. Like, it's not just about making the work, but also seeking the opportunities that's going to lead you to the place that you want to be. There's a lot going on, just in general, in the world in general. But